What's up, y'all? This is Mario, and you know I got soul.com is keeping it locked right here for y'all. I'm in the building. Make sure y'all check out the interview. I hope y'all enjoy it. Hit me on my...
All right, Mario. So you've been working on this new album, scheduled for release in the next couple of months. Just kind of introduce us to the music you've been working on.
Yeah, this album, which is untitled at the moment. Well, I have the title. I'm just announcing it in the next few weeks. Man, I think that it's aligned with where I am, personally in my life in terms of creativity and just the texture of the album has a dark sensuality to it. Kind of like what I did with the video for somebody else, the first single. It's dark, it's sexy, it's couture, and just wanting to keep it creative yet still relatable.
So, I was reading another interview you did. You mentioned it was more refined than some of your previous work. What do you kind of mean by that?
Refined in the sense of the content of the album. I think with where music is and where I've gone already, I've already did the typical, I ain't gonna say typical, they were good R&B songs, traditional R&B type of topics, but now with this album kind of refining it and making it more detailed to the content and the way that I say, certain concepts and the way that I express in certain songs, like Fatal Distraction, for instance.
Right.
It's a song that was written by Jordan and Jessica Wilson and myself and Jaden, produced by Big Bang. It explains the infatuation that I have with kind of conquering someone, with conquering this woman, to the point where it becomes a fatal distraction to me,
Right.
But the way that it's written is very, it's more mature, it's sexy, it's the way that I use my falsetto in the record, the way that I sing on the record. So it just shows a lot of growth and individuality.
Right. And of course, this is the follow-up to your 2009 album, D.N.A.
Yeah.
Kind of waited, a few years for this one.
Yeah.
What type of growth overall as an artist think we'll hear, in terms of writing, in terms of your sound and everything?
I think as you get older, you get more comfortable with, your gift. The way that you show growth is by expanding and trying new things and evolving and reinventing yourself. And I feel like this album definitely has and will show that, I've reinvented myself. I would take the single, for example, Somebody Else featuring Nicki, produced by Polo the Don, written by Sick Pen, Jimmy Bonet. And that record to me shows growth in a way of texture of my voice, the content, the way that I'm conversing with, the girl on the record, and choice. I chose to pick that as a single because it reminded me of the 2014 version of Just a Friend. Where I'm still having a conversation with the woman, but at the same time it feels more mature. It's classic in the sense of the fact that we took, Polo took a silver sample and made it into a classic R&B hip hop record.
Right.
So all of these things plays a part.
Right. A few years ago, I was reading you were looking at mix with the Europop sound, kind of do some things with that. Is that going to be present on this album or?
Not on this album, but I'm definitely looking forward to doing some stuff with maybe some producers overseas or something like that. But this album, I really wanted to stick to just making great R&B music with the, alternative vibe, and by alternative I mean a mixture of just different types of textures and sounds.
Right. All right. So, a few years back, you had the single, The Walls. You kind of went in a different direction than that single. I mean, what kind of made you, go in a different direction and leave that behind?
Well, The Walls, written by Rico Love, which is like a dope R&B record. I really enjoyed working with Rico. Rico is amazing to me at what he does. That particular project that we recorded together, Rico wrote, it was like 7 songs that we were going to put out. But it wasn't the direction that I wanted to go in for an album.
Okay.
And, not anything against Rico, but just me and my label and my partners, we, decided to switch it up, and go on a different route that I felt was more suitable for music, where music is going, or where I feel like music is going, and where I am with myself and my brand.
Right. That makes sense. Now you also were working on a mixtape, I believe. Truth be told, I know some of the fans want to know if that's still gonna ever make an appearance, or.
To all the fans out there, truth be told, is definitely still in the works. You know what? I just want it to be right. You know what I'm saying? So I may wait until definitely after the album. It won't be before the album. It'll probably be after the album, maybe sometime next year. But I'll keep y'all posted on that for sure. But right now, it's all about this new album, and really just keeping it locked with the new music.
Cool. Now, you started so young as an artist. You developed a younger fan base and also kind of a more grown audience, and you've developed that as you've come along as an artist. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there's ever a pressure to cater to separate audiences, or do you feel like you just do what you do?
I kind of feel like I do cater I cater to all audiences. I'm definitely a well-rounded individual. There isn't any topic, personally that I can't speak about, in interviews. The thing about albums is that, I do a lot of study and different things outside of albums, from any, just different types of subjects. But like, you have 12 songs, or if you decide to do 16 to tell a story or to make it out, you can't fit everything in there, So I just try to make it well-rounded. This album, you're gonna cry with me, you're gonna want to make love to it, you're gonna dance to it, you're gonna have fun to it, and some records are just great feel-good records. So it's a little bit of everything for both audiences.
All right. A word I've heard used to describe you as an artist is underrated at times. Do you take that as a positive thing, or is that kind of a frustrating thing?
I mean, I don't really. It doesn't bother me when I hear people say, "Oh, I feel like he's underrated." I think that. I definitely think that. I push myself to greatness, so when people say that he's underrated, I think that they're speaking about how great they feel I am and where they feel I should be. And I definitely, it's flattering, actually, because it's them saying that we think you're so great that you deserve much more, or you deserve what we think you deserve. But in this game, what people have to understand is that I started at 15 years old, so there's different levels of success and different levels of appreciation for a brand that happens, and I think that this album will definitely catapult me to the level of respect and appreciation, especially for the simple fact that me and my team put this project together and we're rolling out the way that we want to roll out, and really just making the music that I want to make. It's a whole nother level of respect, I think, that happens when you have that type of success. So God willing, it will be a very successful project, and most important thing is that my fans love the music, and that music lovers respect what I'm doing.
Right. All right. Cool. I know you've been more involved in the writing side of things over the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
How did your writing develop through the years?
With writing, for me, I've always been a melodic dude. I've always done the melodies. I've always heard melodies before I heard words. I've heard melodies and textures before I heard words, even in the music. With this album, I co-produced like 3 songs on the album, so it's like, with writing, the concepts always come sometimes after I hear the music, because I like to lay the bed before I put the sheets on it. I like to put the mattress down before I put the sheets on it. But I think I've just gotten more comfortable with experimenting with different types of concepts, and I like more eclectic concepts now than I ever have. Like finding like metaphors and creative ways to say certain things, and finding melodies that are R&B, a little unorthodox R&B than normal. I think you'll hear that on this album as well.
Right. And just to wrap up, I just want to ask you about your song "Do Right." I know it's a very personal song from your Go album. Do you feel like that's potentially the most important song of your career so far? Would you put it up there?
"Do Right." I think "Do Right" is, now that song is a bit underrated. I feel like I would even say that song is a bit underrated. Just in terms of listeners, not that people who have heard it never liked it. I just, just in terms of it being heard as much as it should. A lot of people that have heard do right have loved it and, you know, been moved by the record. And I wouldn't say that it was the best song, but personally wise, I think that it was the closest to me expressing my personal life as much.
Right. Cool. So that's all we had. Anything you want to add on?
Hit me on my Twitter at Mario Soul Truth, and it's the same with the Instagram, man. So I look forward to seeing y'all. Good night, peace and love.